Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another episode of what is the Arsenal phone-in show, of which I've tried to find 3 different backgrounds. That's the right one. There we go. Happy days. Lovely stuff. Arsenal have signed Declan Rice. Declan Rice is an Arsenal player and will be for the next 5 years, according to his contract, which also has a supposed 1-year option included into it, taking that deal all the way through to 2029, believe it or not. This is a massive, massive moment in Arsenal's summer, potentially in Arsenal's season. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of expectation about what we might come to expect from this deal. And to celebrate that fact, I promised you all that we would indeed be doing a phone-in show. And today I'm bringing you that phone-in show. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you joining us in the chat box. James, yes, this is indeed real life. And you can join me in real life by going to the link in today's video description. Just make sure, of course, that you're over the age of 18, that you've got a webcam, a microphone, and you're in a quiet place to record, no music going on in the background, of course, and all of that lovely stuff as usual. So if you'd like to join, we'll be talking to some people that are already queuing up. I can see down below me, which is fantastic. We'll be talking to some people very, very shortly. Let's jump into the chat box, though, first of all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to Louis, to First Last, good morning to Clock Orange, good morning to Dave, afternoon Nav, we've got Christopher, we've got Alpha, good morning, good afternoon to you. Hobble Malls, please no more vanilla ice. I can't promise that won't be the case. I think we're going to be hearing a lot of Rice Baby for the next few weeks or so. Napa Fire, good morning, good afternoon to you. We've got, who else in here? Winder Adventures. We've got K. Dotway, we've got Holdini, we've got Stevie, and plenty more of you guys as well. So yes, you can indeed join us by going to the link in the description, or you can join us through the link that I'm just throwing into the chat box now. There it is. Let's get in our first couple of callers. First of all, joining us, James, joining us now. MIL Reaction, how are you doing, my friend? Take yourself off mute and tell me how you're feeling, mate.
Good day, Tom. I'm buzzing. This has been a massive window for us, because it's been a while since I've seen Arsenal behaving like this in a transfer window. I'm being completely honest. I can't remember the last time I've seen Arsenal acted like this in a transfer window. So I'm really buzzing, especially with the signing of Rice and Timber. We're getting addition in places where we need it. That's not something you normally see Arsenal do during the past couple of seasons.
It's a huge window. It's a huge signing for us in this window. I mean, were you ever worried at any point? Was there any trepidation, anxiousness in your mind around this deal, or were you always confident it was going to get done?
Actually, at the start, I was a little bit anxious about it until after we heard that we are finally came to an agreement with West Ham. I'm like, all right, I think this is it. It's just Arsenal trying to make sure everything is in order. So all I need to do is just be patient, try not to think about it too much, because as Arsenal fans, we normally go over the top when there's a deal with a player that we are quite interested in. Yeah. So we're normally like, oh, we're getting Rice. All right, let's check the plane. We're going to check his cab. We're going to make sure he does his medical. We're going to follow all the way as well. So yeah, so far as an Arsenal fan, you just have to try and stay calm. From we know that the deal is done, there's an agreement between the club. The only thing we need to worry about is if the player is going to pass his medical.
And that obviously was done. And this week, and now we've seen that he's signed. How much credit are you giving to the likes of Arteta, Edu, the club, the owners, etc., getting this deal done?
I'm giving them all the credit. All the credit that they deserve, because this isn't an easy deal, especially for when you're talking about Arsenal. Remember, we are Arsenal, but we normally kind of be a little stingy when it comes around to getting the best deal. We're not like, say we're going to behave like a City or a Real Madrid, where you say, hey, you want 100 mil, we're going to give you 80 mil plus 20 in add-ons, which is guaranteed, because you know that these teams are going to win something. So the add-ons is like, it's a definite thing.
So absolutely. In that, James, thank you for jumping on the show. I really appreciate your time, giving us our first words. Tell people where they can find you.
You can follow me on Instagram, I'm always on Instagram at the Dreamer, where I do like graphic design work and such. So
Brilliant
that's
stuff.
where I'm mostly at. But
Lovely
thanks,
stuff,
thanks
James.
again, Tom.
Pleasure, mate.
All
Absolute
right.
pleasure. Speak to you soon. Enjoy your day. Lovely stuff. Thank you to James for jumping on. Let's chat into the chat box. Jump into the chat box as well. Window Adventure says, indeed, only 12 likes. Come on, let's get those likes up. Declan Rice signing. It's certainly worth liking the video for. We've got John says, after watching Declan's interview during the 2020 Euros, I thought he was so humble, likable, honest, and an intelligent player that he would fit in with what we were building. So glad that he is. That certainly seems to be the case. We're also joined by Wilson. Wilson, how you doing, my friend?
Declan Rice. Oh, I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing about the Declan Rice signing. Sorry, I just couldn't resist it because I have to say, once again, Declan Rice is a massive, massive signing. It's a massive statement. It proves that Arsenal are no longer a soft touch anymore. It just shows that Arsenal are not messing about. I believe that Edu and Arteta deserve massive, massive credit. It's not just that they wanted the player, they put the money down. The moment that Manchester City put their bidding, which was 90 million, I thought to myself, nah, nah, nah. There's no way on earth they're getting Declan Rice this time. I felt like, when it comes to like players preference to go to certain football clubs, it plays a part. It did play a part. And Declan Rice said he wants to go to Arsenal. And guess what? Arsenal got the job done. He's got leadership qualities. He's Premier League proven. He's a brilliant player. So looking forward to seeing him in an Arsenal shirt. Buzzing, absolutely buzzing.
Well, I can give you a treat because if you head over to the Arsenal website, you'll see him in an Arsenal shirt. I guess it's already been announced into one.
I'll do that. I'll do that definitely.
It is. It's a very good announcement video. I was saying on the channel before, Aubameyang's announcement video is kind of my favorite one. But the Adidas announcement for Rice was a very, very good and highly kind of congested, celebrity filled one, which was very nice indeed. How do you kind of see him fitting in, considering the fact we've got Thomas Partey still at the moment, at least. Kai Havertz has joined the club as well. Martin Odegaard is here. We still have Jorginho. How do you see Rice fitting into Arsenal's team?
If I'm honest, I feel like Declan Rice is more likely to be the Granit Xhaka replacement, like a number 8. If Partey stays, it could be number 6. That's what I get the feeling. But the thing is, if Partey leaves as well as Granit Xhaka leaving, we need at least probably 1 or 2 midfielders. Even if Partey stays, we need one more midfielder to add more depth and quality because we cannot afford to leave ourselves short. Simple as that, really.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Partey's situation, it's quite fluid. We'll see what happens if he leaves. We absolutely need to sign someone for me in the midfield. If he doesn't, I think we've got the depth there, which is really, really key. You talked a lot about Arteta and Edu in your first monologue when you were talking kind of about the situation. Has it given you kind of any more confidence that they are the right people, of course, dealing with Arsenal's transfers?
I believe it has. I believe it has given me confidence that they can deal with any transfers, really. It feels like Arsenal have got a strategy, and 2, it feels like they've got a plan. I've noticed it in January as well. Remember when we could not get our first target, they had a plan B. I feel like Arsenal are kind of like getting their stuff in order and they're getting the stuff in place, which I like. And I like it when Arsenal don't mess about. And I'm so glad I'm not moaning about it, which is so refreshing. And but in all seriousness, I feel like the club have got like really good plans in place, which is what I like.
Absolutely. Wilson, thank you so much for jumping on today. Really appreciate your time as always. I will speak to you, I'm sure, on the next one. Have a fantastic time. Tell me where they can find you.
Well, essentially, I've got Instagram, which is W1A50. I do some Arsenal content on it sometimes. I just did like a Declan Rice announcement video on. I did the song about it. It was brilliant.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I did.
Well, give me another Declan Rice song just before we leave, Wilson. Come on.
Let me try this
Here we go.
again. Right. Declan Rice. How
Yes,
about
mate.
that?
Love it. Thank you for coming on, Wilson. We'll speak to you soon, son. See you later. Lovely stuff from Wilson. Always brilliant to chat with him. Let's bring on our next caller. It's Abdul. Abdul joining us now. Here you are. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, Tom. How are you?
Are you going to give me a Declan Rice song as well, or no?
It's like 9 a.m. here. I woke
Brilliant
up.
stuff,
I was
mate.
watching your transfer video show. Obviously, every morning I wake up and I watch it, and you didn't announce that Declan Rice over there. And as soon as I opened the Facebook page and I saw Arsenal post the whole thing, I was like, "Damn! Like Tom just missed out on the announcement."
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
the way it goes. That's the way it goes. I do a show. I do the morning show. The one day I don't do it live as well because I was busy this morning and I pre-recorded it. I was like, look, something's going to happen. I was like, I kind of get a feeling, right? Obviously, Rice was going to be announced today. We kind of all knew that was going to happen. But the fact that the West Ham message came out at 8 a.m. is frankly disgusting. I'm considering legal action. I'm getting to that stage. It's a joke. But yeah, tell me how you're feeling about this one, Abdul.
Oh man, I'm feeling good. The whole idea is it was stressful at the beginning. I did have my doubts, not really with Arteta, but with Edu himself, just because obviously there was a lot of overreactions from a lot of the fans. Like no teams had signed any player yet, and everyone was already moaning, and it's just the window didn't even open yet, and that was an overreaction. But when Man City started getting into the race and they started like bidding like 90 million, and I was like, that's a little bit. I was a little bit worried just because when that usually happens, Arsenal doesn't really end up winning and getting their targets. So, yeah, usually, exactly. Yeah. And I had my doubts. I personally think that Man City didn't think that they wanted to put that much money just to take it, because they never signed him because they never bid for him just because they want him. I truly believe that they just wanted to take him away from Arsenal, just that Arsenal doesn't get that quality player. But I don't think it was worth putting that much more money on the player. And I think it was just more to kind of squeeze Arsenal to put as much money in so that they can probably have less funds to go for other players. It's just I think it was a strategic move from Man City because they do have the funds to do so. But yeah, that's why I initially told you in one of the shows, just if West Ham is asking for 1 million, just put the 1 million in. That way they have no more excuses. They can't say nothing. They can't say that Arsenal did not meet our expectations or the bid that we want. Just put the amount in. If they still say no at 100 million, we just move on. But I mean, at the end they did we did give them a little bit more, but we still got the player that we wanted, which is fantastic. I don't personally value him at that much, but as long as I value him, if Arteta believes that he's the player that he wants, then I am all for it. Because at the beginning, I was like, Arteta's not going to work with his club if they're not going to bring him the players that he wants. As long as they get him the players that he wants and he can implement the system that he believes is the way to move forward, then he'll have some success. So I had my doubts that they weren't going to give him that backup. But now I can clearly see that they are giving him what he wants. They are giving him the players that he's asking for. So moving into next season, I'm pumped. I'm excited. I can't wait to watch every Arsenal game. Just cheer the heck out of it, and turning my wife into an Arsenal fan. Like she's been watching the games with me. It's great. It's fantastic. I can't wait. I'm pumped. I am pumped because now I will never run into the issue where Partey is going to be alone in the midfield, where he's kind of covering a lot of the defensive side of the midfield, and you feel like he's getting overwhelmed in some of the matches against some of the bigger teams where there's a ton of pressure on us. Now that Rice is there, he can provide that support. Now, whether Partey stays or leave, I'm not exactly sure, but if he does leave, then we would want to bring in another backup, because you will need someone to replace Partey if he does leave, and you will need Rice to provide that backup, while he will be a player who will also move forward, but he also has great defensive abilities where he can help a player like Thomas Partey in the midfield. So I'm pumped. I'm I can't wait to see how those two are going to work together, and I just feel like we're going to boss the midfield this year. I really do. I feel like the midfield this year we will definitely we will boss it for sure. I'm positive.
Me too. I think we've got great physicality. I think that's the one thing I noticed on Thursday when we played against Nuremberg. You know, you look at that team now, and you've got Gabriel and Saliba and Ben White in there. Kivior even playing left back. You know, you've got Partey starting if indeed he does stay. Havertz is, you know, he's a tall player for a midfielder that's playing in that position as well. We seem to have got such power in the side now, and that's really exciting. Abdul, thank you so much for jumping on the show.
Thanks,
Tell
man.
people they can find you if you would like to.
Honestly, I just use my YouTube. I just watch your videos, man. That's pretty much all I do.
I appreciate it, man. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Have a good one, bro. See you later. Massive thanks to Abdul for jumping on. I'm going to bring in Mike because I'm very well aware that it's probably about 2 a.m. in the morning over in Perth. Mike, how you doing, my friend? You good? You well? Take yourself on music.
I'm very well. I'm very well, Tom. I know it's relatively sociable at this stage in Perth. It's 9 p.m, so not too bad.
Oh, is it 9? I don't know why I had like this thing in my head that it was like 12 hours ahead of us for some reason.
A couple of hours if you're on the East Coast, but a bit more sociable.
I see. So it was what? Must have been 8 p.m. When you saw the announcement of Declan Rice coming through. How excited were you?
It's a needle mover on so many levels. I mean, it's people were sort of saying, "Oh, look, we're getting upset about the delay," and it'll take away the joy. Absolute rubbish. Doesn't take away the joy. to see the video, it created as much joy as it would have done if it was a week ago. As I said, it's a needle changer, not just in terms of what we've got on the pitch, but it's a needle changer in terms of the intent that the club are showing. It's a needle changer in terms of how fearful the opposition are going to be when they have to face us at any game, anywhere. It really is that important to the team as a whole, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the moment, what we've shown with this type of move again is that ambition. Is that drive that we've got this intention to progress this team, to compete with Man City, to invest money. Do you think it's a type of deal that could change the perspectives of that some people might have on either the likes of Arteta, Edu, or maybe even the owners to some degree?
I think if anybody doesn't appreciate what Arteta and Edu have done, then they're living in some sort of bizarre, drug-induced world, perhaps, because it's obvious to see the difference between now and 3 years ago is beyond belief. I mean, let's be honest, we had a team that nobody liked in its entirety. We loved it because it was Arsenal, but we were struggling to get any enthusiasm. The way the club interacts with the fans is just at a different level. That's Arteta. Edu's proved that he can do the selling as well as the buying at this stage. He's gone for over 20 million, which nobody was predicting, and more of that will happen. And the board have stepped up ever since they took full ownership. And then when Josh started to come into the picture as I think that was a turning point, that it became Josh's baby rather than Stan's baby. Again, the difference is tangible. They've backed the manager, they've backed Edu, they've backed the fans, as far as I'm concerned, and we're seeing that on the pitch. And at every level in the club, it's a club from top to bottom. You get that feeling it's one organisation working in the right direction. And so for people to unjustifiably criticize that is just them holding on to the fact that they don't want to have been wrong 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
Do you think it's as much as that, just pride in an opinion about like not wanting to, because I've sat on here and been wrong a million times. I tell people to go back and watch my Emi Buendia video if you ever want to see me look an absolute fool. I've certainly sat down and been wrong about things, but it is frustrating. I think there was always kind of these comments, rather not videos, but comments I got on like the morning shows just saying we're not signing Rice. He's not happening. Why do you think there was so much skepticism around it?
Oh, look, there's probably a bit of PTSD going on. I mean, we haven't exactly shown in previous transfer windows, so I can understand a little bit of skepticism. And then there are people, then there are people out there, without mentioning any channels, etc., who perpetuate some of the behaviours from previous years as what is happening currently, which of course is complete nonsense. I think you made reference on a show this week about the idea of he's had 700 million to spend and he's had the opportunity to win 15 trophies, and I mean that's just absolute nonsense. And
but politician levels of twisting, isn't it?
Absolutely, but people are peddling this, and you can understand that if people are feeling a little twitchy, and you have some people peddling this sort of stuff, that it doesn't help in terms of seeing a different picture. I guess, but from my point of view, I've had doubts.
Yeah, I mean, it's natural to have doubts. It's natural to be critical, when things are deservedly needed to be critical of. But what I think we've gleaned from this early window, we're halfway through July. We're just under a month away from the season starting officially, and we've got our main business done. Havertz in, Timber in, Rice in. We could still do more. I certainly have a feeling that there is potential for more as well. It depends, I think, a lot on outgoings. But the fact that we've done our priorities and got them all, Havertz was not someone necessarily being mentioned about weeks before the window started, but became available and was an opportunity that Arsenal then created their own new priority, if you like, and got him. Rice has been the priority, as we know, for months and months and months. They've got him. And Timber was their priority defensive target, and they've got him. So huge props to them. But Mike, thank you. Props to you for jumping on as always at a difficult hour, but I appreciate it. And thank you for coming on. Tell people where they can find you.
You can find me in the Discord channel. And of course, you guys who aren't members, become so, because you're missing out on a treat. There you go.
Lovely stuff. Mike, thank you for your time. Always a pleasure to speak with you, my friend.
Catch you again soon, mate.
Massive thank you to Mike. Let's bring on our next caller. I have put a list, an order in the private chat for those that are sitting waiting for their turn. We've got Elliot up next. Elliot, how are we? How's the lunch break?
Well, it's not a lunch break, really. It's 9:24 in the morning.
Breakfast
So
break.
It's pretty but no work today since it's Saturday. Since it's again, if you're asking for lunch, I'll ask for rice any day.
No, we're having rice every meal of the day now.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What a wonderful day it is to wake up and realize you have one of the best midfielders in the world at your disposal for the next 4 to 5 years, if not longer. Oh, and I just see the hate, the seething hate from all the other sides saying, "Oh, you now you're a big club and now you must win at all costs," and you now you're a big spending club and the pressure's on you to do. It's come on, guys. You woke up the sleeping giant. The Giants awoke, and as I told you, Tom, this would be the referendum on the Cronkies, and you know what? They have won this referendum with flying colors, absolutely flying colors. Credit to the Cronkies. Credit to Adu.
He was a brave man. I don't think it should be brave. I don't think it has to be brave anymore to say credit to the ownership, And, I remember, Elliot, when we spoke, I think it was one of the earlier phone-in shows. I'd probably be fair to say that you were quite skeptical about what we would do and how we would do it. And I think, Edu and Arteta have shown that. Let me ask you from that perspective, I'm trying to word this question the right way. I'll say it as I'll say it, and I promise you it's not meant to come across condescending. But how does it feel to be proven wrong? You know what I mean? It feels weird to say that, but do you know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
I'll gladly hold my hands up, as you see here, and say, you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong about the Cronkies. I never knew that they were going to spend to this extent. I never knew that one day. I think what was it? I think it was June 30th, I believe. Was that the day that the bid went in, the 105 bid?
Yeah.
June 30th, when the bid went in for Declan Rice for 105 million pounds. I said, "Holy Jesus. The sun is shining on us finally after 20 years. And the glow is so warm and lovely and inviting." and I grew away from my idiocy and my just distrust.
It wasn't idiocy, it's just I think Mike said the word, PTSD. We've come to have disappointment and have frustrations from transfer windows,
Yes.
from even the most recent one, like with Caicedo and Mudryk. So, I absolutely have empathy for those that are apprehensive about what we might do. I don't have sympathy for those that ask for the guys to be sacked before the window's even got halfway through. But I think there is something to be said about, what we've experienced and the trepidation and anxiousness that can bring about in a window. But in terms of where we go from here, Elliot, what else would you like to see, if anything?
Well, listen, we're not done. I know we're not done. I see us spending up to 250, up to 300 million pounds this summer. We are going big. We have the financial wherewithal to do so, and we are not. And I would like to see another midfielder come in. I would love to see Partey stay. First off, I think he's still very much a world-class midfielder. And now that we have Declan Rice as cover in that position, we can allow Partey to do as he wants, come in and out of the lineup as he pleases. But it's up to him. It's clearly up to him. But if he leaves, I'd like to see a midfielder come in. I see us, speculating about Bitello. I know that Lavia is still out there. And so, one of those two gentlemen, if they want to come in and shore up things, if, and I say, please don't leave Thomas Partey. And if he does leave, then, you have those two options. But other than that, also an attacker. I'd really like to see an attacker. But you know what? I know, and this is this is a wild take. And I know I'm going to, hear from a few of those in Discord and outside of Discord and those listening today. But in January, I really like to see Ivan Toney come in. I think
Interesting.
I understand he's got a lot of baggage. I get it. I totally get it. But he is a player who would gladly walk into this club and transform us and give us that number 9 that we so desperately need. Now, again, we can always wait till next summer and see what's out there. But I would like to see an Ivan Toney come in. But if not him, then another attacker and maybe another right winger. Somebody come in for Saka. We cannot have Saka. Please, for the love of Christ, Mikel Arteta, do not be playing Saka to the extent you did last year. It can happen. This kid is a superstar, and we don't want him breaking down. So if someone comes in, now I don't know if it's going to be Reece Nelson. I don't know if it's going to be Diaby or someone of his ilk to come in and fill in his shoes. Maybe a Rafinha. Who knows? But if someone comes in and provides cover for Saka, then we're done. I think we've covered all bases. I think we brought in an attacker. We brought in 2 midfielders. We brought in the defender in Timber, which is an absolutely spectacular deal. Let it be said, people. Do not get it twisted. This kid is going to wow us. He will wow us. And he will be the Lauren that we've been looking for the last 20 years. I say it now. I say it clearly now. I don't think absolutely. I don't think we've ever seen a player at right back the way this guy is since Lauren, and he is going to come and surprise us. And then I think, listen, the X factor is Havertz. This is Arteta call, but his DNA, his talent, his talent search is next to none of all the top managers, next to only Pep, I think. And you can say Klopp as well, but even he's loosening his touch a bit. Sorry, Liverpool. But anyways, I sincerely think, Havertz is going to be the, that joker in the pack that, no one's seeing, and he may surprise us. So we have to give him his due. And I heard some criticism about him yesterday after those first 45 minutes. He's had 45 minutes, people. He just literally walked into the side and people are saying, oh, he's good, he's no good, he's rubbish, you throw him out. I said, what are you talking about? We have to give him time. We have to give Arteta time with the player so that he can grow and flourish. I'm sure that the likes of Dennis Bergkamp, the likes of Thierry Henry had to be given time in order to flourish. If they were surviving in this social media age, I don't know if they could thrive under such pressures, especially with this fan base. And so we have to give a guy like Kai Havertz at least a little breath, a little room. Let's see how he does in the United States. Let's see on the U.S. tour. let's see how he does in the first few matches of the season, and even the Emirates Cup, and also at the Charity Shield. Let's give these players time, but a wonderful window, a wonderful window. Credit to the Cronkies, credit to Edu, credit to Arteta. They've smashed it. They've absolutely smashed it. A few more players, and it's an A plus, 10 out of 10 window.
Lovely stuff. Elliot, thank you so much, mate, for your time. I really appreciate you jumping on and having your thoughts read out.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Have a good one. See you later. Much appreciate Elliot for jumping on. I can see plenty of you in the chat box. Thank you ever so much, everyone that is continuing to join us. As Tony says, please do drop a like on the video. It'd be very much appreciated. So please do. And let's bring in Dom, who's on the list next. Dom, how are you, my friend? You good? You well?
I'm very well, thanks, Tom. How are you? All good?
Very good. Have you got enough microphones? I know I say you need to have a microphone, but have you got
Can
enough
you hear me?
in that room? I don't think you've got enough microphones.
Yeah, so that's set up from my my DJ setup, which is actually on hold a little bit at the moment. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was going to blur the background, and then it didn't look right, so I decided to let everyone see my background. My wife is hiding though because she's just done a workout, so she's half naked in the background somewhere. So
I appreciate the monetization. We certainly appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly.
Lovely stuff. Dom, tell me how excited you are at the moment.
I am excited. I am really excited. I don't think I'm much more excited today than I was kind of when it was kind of clear that he was going to sign. I think today is just a good day just to see him alongside the other Arsenal players, hear how well he speaks. I think I was really struck by how well he spoke in the interviews and his little message, to, or the few words that he said when he was introduced by Arteta. And I was actually like, when Timber said his little bit, I was a bit disappointed because in the build-up he was really well spoken and said all the right things. And when he was given the chance in front of the rest of the team, he was a bit quiet. But Rice he's really impressed me just the way he carries himself. I think he's a great fit for the club, and I'm really happy that it's finally done and over the line. But at the same time, people that are losing their minds a bit because it kind of dragged on a bit. We're still in the first 2 weeks of the window. Yeah. So
we're a month in now. We're 4 weeks in. But 2 weeks into July. Yeah,
2 weeks into July, right? Which is, which for me is, we've done well to get 3 massive signings over the line and introduced, and we've only played a single preseason game. So, they're going to be with us for the tour. They're going to, and as well, there's still some players that we've got in the shop window and that we hopefully can get rid of. So they've got a few games that they can either prove themselves as worthy of staying or get them out the door. And then we can get potentially kind of as the window starts to close, we can get some maybe less high profile signings through the door and start the season with a really strong squad. It feels like, excited just because it's done and all of the, it's great to see him in a kit. And I love the way, I've got to give a shout out to Arsenal's media team as well for, first of all, not too much getting leaked this time. The Havertz thing, I don't know who leaked that because that was ridiculous. But they managed to, first of all, not leak a lot and also produce some really good content, which is great to see as an Arsenal fan. It's great to see the way we present ourselves. So, good day. Good day today.
Yeah, not much was leaked on the Arsenal side of things. That, however, you can't say that was the same on the West Ham. It felt like they were publicizing every aspect of the negotiation, the process of this deal. What did you make of how it was, kind of talked about, looked at in that sense?
Yeah, I agree that I don't think West Ham have covered themselves in glory with regards to that. I think they could have been a bit better. If you look at what Ajax did, Ajax basically, worked with us. It seemed to kind of do the exit and the join-in video kind of with a bit of thinking about it. It was almost as if the two clubs worked together to get the content out there rather than West Ham doing what they've done, which has been a bit lacking a bit of class, if you ask me, with regards to just the way that the club themselves, their media team, the way they did it, and just the bits that they've leaked along the way. I haven't been really too impressed with West Ham. It's a shame because obviously David Moyes and Arteta have clearly got a relationship there, and there should be a lot more good feeling between the clubs. And unfortunately, and also I thought, let me have a look at the West Ham fans' comments under the Declan Rice goodbye video, and after doing that, I realized why I don't go and look at comments too often, because it's just like, just nonsense and hyperbole, and just like people just saying what they think they need to say to get a rise out of Arsenal fans. So yeah, avoid West Ham comments at all costs if you can.
Yeah.
Avoid them.
Look, trust me. I mean, this season West Ham are going to have struggles, I think, after losing Declan Rice, and I think also, I feel like they've tried to cultivate something of a rivalry between us and them throughout the course of the season. There's no rivalry. There's just Arsenal, boys. So, you don't need to concern yourselves with us. Palace and Millwall and Charlton, that's the clubs, you really should be looking at. But Dom, thank you so much, mate, for your time. Are you going to be coming along for our live show potentially?
100%. Yeah, I'll be there, definitely. As long as the dates line up. But yeah.
13th of August is when we're doing
it. Yeah. So I had an inquiry for a gig for that day. So it's kind of like, it's just to see how it works out. But I'm going to do I'm going to do my best.
I appreciate it, mate. I appreciate it. Thank you, Don. Tell people where I can find you, mate.
At Dom C the DJ everywhere. Social media, not too loud on social media. Popping into the Discord every now and again. And same as Mike, I'd encourage anybody who's not either become a member themselves or been gifted a member by Stephen, gifted membership by Stephen, to jump in on the membership vibe, because it's it's a great little community that Tom's built here, or is building here, and just come along and get involved.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dob. Much appreciate your time. I'll speak with you soon.
Take care, Goons. Cheers.
Massive appreciation for Dom there. We've got, I think we've got time for 3 more callers, and I've got 3 more callers on my list. I've got Ikram, Richard, and Josh. I'm going to be getting to all 3 of you, so just be patient, and we'll get around to you. Ikram is up first. How you doing, Ikram? You good? You well? Can you hear me? See me? I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Ikram, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chuck you out, sort out the audio stuff, and I'll bring you back in afterwards, okay? Lovely stuff. Richard is up next, looking very ready and alive and happy. Richard, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you, Tom?
Very good, my friend. Very good indeed. Declan Rice, talk to me. How excited are you?
So, obviously, it's a monumental step forward for the club. To put down that kind of money on any player, especially a captain from another side, is a huge leap forward. So hats off to Edu, Miguel, and the team. I think definitely with this addition, we will see an improvement in the side. One thing I do have to say about some of what I've seen from our fan base is I don't get the response about West Ham for the most part. They didn't want to let go of this player for a reason. He's their best player. He's their captain. We're weakening their side. So I get the frustration from West Ham fans and the club in general. So I don't think we look at that enough, because we want the player so much. We're coveting the player so much that it's hard to look at it from the opposite end of the spectrum, so to speak. So super thrilled, excited, and really looking forward to see how he plugs into the side.
I think it's going to be exciting to see when he gets into that lineup where he fits in. Do you think it will be the number 6 role, or do you think it will be maybe playing slightly further ahead if Partey starts?
Yeah, it's a good question, Tom. One thing that I saw a lot towards the second half of the season, and it wasn't just with Pep's side introducing a new formation, but De Zerbi, and I think a lot of teams took after that Brighton side when they realized the style of play and how hard it was to break down that side, that they started adopting and bringing in new formations. That I really think that we will see something different. I think they were just waiting to bring in Timber, Rice, and Havertz so they could have most of those key pieces together and then concoct a formula to go forward. who we see going out is obviously going to have a difference as to how that formation ends up coming about. But I think either way, I'm ecstatic. And I think, the biggest key to this season, and I think everybody has said this, is that Miguel has got to trust that side and rotate the players quite heavily because we will be, in 4 competitions. And I do believe that we should be challenging and expecting to challenge in all of those competitions. And again, by saying that, I think we, as fans, have to understand that we're not there to win the Champions League. Do we want to? Of course. But that, is a bridge that's not necessarily just there. But obviously, if we can get it, then all the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard, thank you so much for, first of all, being patient to jump on as well.
Oh, no
and for
problem.
speaking your words as well. Very much appreciated.
No problem. Thank you for the content, and have a good one.
Thanks, man. Tell people they can find you if you want.
I'm on YouTube and Twitter at Arsenal Gooner.
There you go.
Thank you.
Arsenal Gooner 74. Richard, thank you so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too. Thanks, Tom.
Massive appreciation. Let's bring in Josh, and then we'll go to Ikram. Hopefully all the audio issues are sorted. Josh, bringing you in now. How are you doing, my friend?
Great. Awful setup here, I'm afraid.
I can see you down below, like trying desperately.
Trying really, really hard. But now I have the floor, I have the sofa, feeling good. Yeah, perfect.
How happy are you about Declan Rice? Tell me.
Oh, it's great news. It really is. And I think, listening to him talk, you just get the sense this is the real deal. He's so well spoken, and just you can tell he's driven, motivated, and it feels like a really, really huge moment for the club. It's great news.
It's massive news. You think about the signings Arsenal have made down the years, and I almost feel like central midfield before we signed Partey was constantly like, we need a midfielder. We got Partey, and then we felt like we needed the next one. And I feel like Declan Rice takes us to that next level, don't you think? Yeah,
no, for sure. And, it's not to downplay Partey. He was absolutely amazing last year.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why he couldn't continue to be great. But it feels like we're future-proof with Rice.
Yeah, future-proofing, I think, is a great term to use. Do you think that the 5+ 1 year contract represents kind of his commitment for the long term to this project?
Yeah. And, a lot can change. Things change very quickly. But the great thing with what the club has done is get this group of players that are going to grow together. And the potential is limitless, really, when you look at it. And last year was like a huge surprise and really, really welcome. So I'm a little bit scared going into the new year because the expectation levels are through the roof. And the one fear that I have is all the good vibes that exist, can we keep that up if things don't quite go according to plan? Everyone now is saying, we have to be in the title hunt. What if that doesn't happen? How quickly will people turn? And I really hope that doesn't happen because, for years and years, we've had this sort of really uncomfortable fan base, and I've been part of it. The late Wenger years and the Emery years and the COVID years, just awful. So to actually get butterflies before games, to constantly be thinking, can we do it? It's the best feeling, and haven't had that really for like nearly 20 years. So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
It feels like we're there again, doesn't it? It feels like we're Arsenal are back. Rice talked about it in his interview, which I know you alluded to as well, that he feels that he wants to bring Arsenal back. He can see we're going in the right direction, and winning trophies is going to be key. Josh, first of all, for not only being patient, but for finding a place to put your phone eventually.
Well, look, it's a new format for streaming on the floor.
Yeah, I think it's a trend, mate. I think it's
absolutely.
Thanks, Josh. I really appreciate it. Tell people where they can find you if you would like.
Nowhere. I'm not anything. I'm just an Arsenal fan who sits on the floor.
Josh, thank you for your time, mate. Have a fantastic day. Cheers, man. See you later. Much appreciate Josh for jumping on as well. We've got time for one more caller. Let's hope that audio is fixed and ready and well. Ikram joins us. Take yourself off mute. Can I hear him?
Yeah, Tom,
please.
Can you hear me, mate?
Yes, I can. Lovely stuff. How are you doing, mate? You good? You well?
I'm doing good, yes. How are you doing?
Very good. In fact, it's incredibly windy outside. I'm just going to close this window, otherwise I won't be able to hear you at all. Tell me how gassed you are about Declan Rice. I say gassed because Frank Gooner says Josh is gassed. Big up to Josh, indeed. I'm gassed. Are you gassed about Declan Rice?
I am super. I'm gassed. So I'll tell you a story. Like I live in India, and there is not a lot of interaction. Like I don't know personally any Arsenal fan here.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So, a couple of years back.
1 billion people in India. Sure, you can find one.
No, I live in a remote place. So, actually.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I'm sure there are many in metro cities. So, I keep up with the Arsenal stuff through content creators like you. But, from early days, it was AFTV, right? And I heard Robbie, a couple of times say that if a player like Declan Rice is available, like, why is Arsenal not talked about him? Like, why is Arsenal not involved in these kinds of talk? And then in Jan I think someone broke the news that Arsenal are going in for him. Even that time I was like, all the Mudryk saga and all the before that Rafinha, like Chelsea came indirectly. So I was not really thinking, but this Rice deal it just gassed me 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to not get Rafinha and Mudryk if it meant that we got Declan Rice. It was kind of like it was the way in which we moved to move those deals, and we didn't get Caicedo either. But Declan Rice, you get the sense, don't you, that he's the profile of player that will take us to the next level?
Yeah. I obviously like every other Arsenal fan. I just keep thinking like where we gonna fix these three guys, Timber, Havertz, and Rice. Like, is Rice gonna play in 8? Is Rice gonna play in the 6th position? I keep going through the FB ref, through the that Squawka metrics, and see like how his stats compare to Partey, or is he more similar to Xhaka? So these things are really excited, about like the first game. Like I see a lot of people, they are like really, getting onto the nerves of Havertz, saying that he didn't perform. But I would say it's the first game. Like people should be excited, like to see what is the new tactics now for Arsenal, how they're gonna play, which formation, and also really excited for the new season, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see kind of the combinations we see. Obviously, he's played with a number of players in the England team. You've got Ramsdale, you've got Ben White, you've got Bukayo Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, of course. We've got a bit of an English core in a way returning. I remember we had Cole Jenkinson and Walcott and Wilshere and Kieran Gibbs and Oxlade-Chamberlain, I think, were the 5 that signed. I think Ramsey, of course, was also a British core in terms of that sense. Do you think it's important for Arsenal to have an English core? And I'm interested as well because, of course, you're based outside England. So is it for a fan for abroad? Is it as well? Do you see an England core for an English team like Arsenal as something that is important?
I would 100% say that, because I think for like I'm a software engineer. I work in an environment where I would say chemistry is very important. I'm not sure about this. Like I played football, but not at this level. But I'm 100% sure that in football also, chemistry is very
PSG, important. Don't you? I assumed you paid for PSG, don't you? That's what. Yeah.
That's for Messi actually. So in terms of English score, I would say it is really gonna help us next season. Like you say the spine of the team. So we have Ramsdale. Then in the defense there is White. Then now is Rice. Then forward is, I would say, Bukayo. Right, and Ethan is also coming up. So how do you feel about Ethan, man? Like he was superb. Like the turns he was making. Like you couldn't say that this guy is 16 years old.
No, it's baffling to see someone that good, that young. We talked about it on the post-match show. You probably watched. We kind of these discussions about if you had the choice of giving 30 minutes to Nwaneri or Fabio Vieira, who you giving those minutes to? And I'm more intrigued to give them to Nwaneri and see how he develops and see what he's able to achieve, because players like Fabregas, players like Saka, Wilshere, all getting plenty of game time before their 18th birthday. Why can't Nwaneri also fall into that category? But yeah, him and Miles Lewis-Skelly coming through. We've signed Kai Havertz, Jurrien Timber, and now Declan Rice. How confident are you for the new season?
You talked about one of the Dan Potts show where one person was saying that, like, what if we don't win it? So I always see that you must see progression every season. Like even if you don't win it, if we just play very good football, and Manchester City are very formidable. Like what they did with that defending with 5 and attacking with 5. You just couldn't beat them, man. Like it was like I haven't seen anything like that. So I'm really confident, and more like other than confident, I would say I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. Like Arteta, like Clive Palmer, like he always say that last season.
Who's that?
We all know.
God.
So he, I listened to him, and he said that last season we were not talking about this inverted fullback. Like nobody ever, like in Arsenal fan base, Tierney was everything. Like you remember the games where he would just run down that left wing and put crosses in, and there like most of our chance creation used to come from. So we were always like, Zinchenko is coming to play in the midfield, man. Like he's not gonna get inverted. And now we are thinking, oh my god, now Timber is gonna invert, or like Zinchenko and Timber both are gonna do this. This stuff. It's so much exciting, man. Let's see. Can't wait.
It is really exciting. It's really exciting, and I look forward to seeing it in the MLS All-Stars game, which of course takes place on Thursday, where we get our first opportunity to see everything. Well, some of us will. Some of us are going to get up at a ridiculous o'clock in the morning, but I suppose it's only fair because a lot of fans around the world have been having to do the same thing for years to watch every single week. But Ikram, thank you so much, mate, for your time and jumping on. Very much appreciated. Tell people they can find you.
It's just I like with Arsenal community, I would say I'm just on Twitter, Gooner Khan. That's it. And I just want to see the content, man. That's it. I don't want to let any people know. That's it. I'm good. Thanks, Tom.
No worries, man. No worries. Thank you for jumping on, my friend. I'll speak to you soon, I'm sure.
Sure. Thank you.
Massive thank you to Ikram and to all of our phone-in guests on today's phone-in show. It's very much appreciated. Fantastic to see some new faces and regular faces as well. I did say I was going to be doing more of these phone-ins. I did want to hold off on doing one of these phone-ins until the Rice deal had been done. I said that a number of occasions, and I delivered that to you today. I just felt like it was almost nigh impossible to have any debate or discussion around the game without having the confirmation that Rice had been done. And now that he has, it gives us a great chance to talk about Arsenal in a lot more detail. But I'll be back tomorrow morning, genuinely live, not a pre-recorded live show in the morning. Actually will be live. So do make sure you set your alarms and turn those notifications on so you never miss a show. If you've enjoyed this phone-in show, please drop a like on the video. If you are listening on catch-up, also leave a comment down below as to anything on what any of our guests or I have said that you disagree with or agree with. Let us know in the comment section. And if you're listening on the likes of iTunes and audio platforms, you can leave us a 5-star review and a written review as well, saying some kind words. They're always very nice to read. But thank you so much, everyone that's tuned in. And as always, have a fantastic day. Stay safe, stay well. And as always, up the Arsenal. Declan Rice is a Gooner.